Today I am joined by Allison Danger, who is set to make her in-ring return this Thursday after nearly a decade of retirement. You've gone on record about your roller coaster of a year that you have had this year, as you were briefly a coach at WWE's Performance Center. You've done some coaching for Women's Wrestling Army, and now you're going to team up with your nephew, Colby Carino, for the first time ever to take on Brandon and Casey Kirk this Thursday. So take us through your decision to make this in-ring return.
It's Colby's fault. It's all Colby's fault. I'll be honest. When he reached out to me, he's like, "Do you want to do this?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Come on, just one night, it's going to be fun." And I'm just like, because I had moments when I watched him versus his dad at the Colby 25th anniversary show last August of 2021. I was like, "Oh man, they make me want to get back in the ring again." And then I was like, "No, it's going to hurt." And then he asked me and I was like, "I don't think so. I don't think so." And then I texted my brother. I go, "Is it crazy that I kind of want to do it?" And he was like, "No, you should totally do it." I'm like, "God damn it, you guys." So yeah, here I am. I'm doing it, but I'm only doing one. And it's funny because a lot of people have been like, "Can we get you for a match? Can we get you for a match?" I'm like, "No, I'm not getting back in the ring." But I mean, it's my nephew. I've gotten to wrestle with my brother and against my brother. So now to wrestle with my nephew, it just kind of comes full circle.
For sure. And in fact, your last match, as I was looking on Cage Match, was a tag team match in April 2013, and now you're coming back in a tag match. When I met you this summer at River City Wrestling Con in Jacksonville, we talked a little bit about what would go into you returning to the ring physically. So what does that process look like for you going into the match and maybe even coming out of the match, both physically and mentally?
Oh, we're not telling my doctor I'm doing this. Yeah. So I was regularly seeing a chiropractor down in Orlando, and he was able to get my neck feeling better. But my knees are bone on bone. I need something called PRP therapy. Pretty much it's just trying to create some space in the knees. So it's arthritis. It's every 45-year-old wrestler has it. So, but it's a little more advanced therapy just to kind of encourage healing and whatnot. But I just, with moving and everything, I haven't been able to do it. So I'm like, all right, as long as my knees, in workouts and stuff, my knees hold up. It's the afterwards where it's achy and it's sore. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So there's going to be some ice packs waiting for me at the hotel.
I bet. So yeah, you're teaming with your nephew Colby for the first time. You mentioned that you've been in the ring with your brother Steve before. Have you faced him one-on-one?
I've never faced him one-on-one. We did 2 mixed tag matches against each other. One where he was with Shark Girl and I was with my husband. So that was a lot of fun. And then the other time it was him and Sumi Sakai versus me and Larry Sweeney, which that match is always going to hold a special place in my heart. Coming out to Sweeney's music, I got to have the feather boa and just working with him was awesome. He's such a wonderful person, and there's nobody like him in the ring. Just that personality, and he got it. He really, really got it, and he knew how to play on the emotions that you needed him to at any time. So there's just still a big hole in wrestling. I feel like if we were able to keep him, he would be a freaking millionaire now. I have no doubt Sweeney would be absolutely rolling in cash and would still be the exact same person he was years and years ago, because that's just who he was. He was amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always enjoyed working with your brother Steve in NXT. He was one of my favorite coaches to talk to. So definitely looking forward to seeing how your match with Colby goes this Thursday, which
it's going to be on IWTV, if I'm correct.
It will be, so yeah.
People can watch it from home.
Exactly, yeah. And you'll be stepping in the ring in particular with Casey Kirk. Have you been watching any of her matches lately gearing up for this?
I watched a little bit of both her and Brandon. Definitely a different style than what I do. So if anyone asks, am I going to go the death match route? Absolutely not. That's a hard no for me, dog. Yeah, that's just not my style.
Yeah, she's competed in some of the same places that you have in the past, like CCW and IWA Mid South.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have a different kind of match.
For
But I'm
sure.
looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what her and Brandon bring to the table.
Absolutely. And gearing up for this interview, I was listening to your interview earlier this year with Renee Paquette on the sessions. And you had mentioned that this year could be your villain origin story or the comeback in the hero's journey. So ahead of your in-ring return this week, where would you say we're at in that journey?
We're right at the point. We're going to see what happens this week and see what direction I go in. Yeah, 2022 has it's officially cemented itself as the worst year of my life. It's just been all downs. Like there's so many downs, but I'm trying to hold on to the goods. I am very fortunate that I have a great family. I have some outstanding friends who, on days where I just could not pick myself up, they were there to drag me up, and I'm so grateful, so grateful to them. It's just, the hits of 2022 keep coming with losing my job the way I did, watching almost everybody from that list go back home, and I'm still sitting here. That's a hard pill to swallow. I don't know what the future holds for me, but we'll see. I'm kind of feeling forgotten by wrestling, but there was a lot of personal strife this year too, like the financial of being stuck in another state and having lost your job is super humbling. If anybody knows how much my cat meant to my family, we lost our cat in July. But honestly, the worst thing was we lost our best friend a month ago to COVID. And that's been the just absolute worst thing. Just the absolute worst thing. It's just been a bit of a nightmare. But, we move forward and we never forget him. We celebrate him every day, and we're just going to keep doing that.
Yeah, the pandemic is certainly not over, and it's hard to just keep pushing through in 2022, and even though it's called COVID-19.
Yeah, it's going to be around forever. I actually caught it, oddly enough, on my day off at the PC right before Christmas. I went in on my day off and ended up getting COVID, and I got really lucky. I had a sore throat and an earache, but it ran the full 10 days. But I'm incredibly lucky it wasn't far more serious. It was painful for a couple days, and then it was annoying, and then it was fine. And then for like a month or two, I noticed like my lung capacity wasn't quite the same, but now I feel fine. So
Right.
I consider myself very, very lucky that it wasn't much worse.
For sure. I know personally when I had at the end of 2020, I was sick the whole 10 days as well. And I just noticed my smell starting to come back a little bit more than it was, which is such an unusual thing.
Oh boy. Yeah. I only lost it for like 12 hours.
Really.
Yeah, I actually lost it like a day and a half before I finally tested positive, because I kept testing negative, and I'm just like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. And I'm like, I broke this eardrum in Dortmund, Germany in 2007, and it never got a chance to heal properly. If you look back on old Shimmer DVD where I teamed with Serena Deeb at one point, you can actually see all the tape over my ear because I couldn't get it patched because I had to come back to the US. I was home for a day and a half and I was on a flight to Shimmer. And I'm like, well, I'll get it patched afterwards. And at that point, I was like, well, what's the point? It's already been like a week and a half. No reason to go to the doctor now. Duct tape. So this ear still gives me issues to this day, like atmospheric pressure. It changes. I used to joke with people like I could call a storm coming through the air. I'm like, yeah, my ear's bothering me. Old timey farmer's almanac. We're getting a big old storm coming out of the west, and so yeah.
Gotta love it. So you came into the Performance Center as a guest coach in 2021, kind of in the midst of the pandemic and everything, and then you officially joined them full time for a few months. You said that you haven't heard back from WWE despite this kind of regime change? Is that what is going on?
So they know I'd love to come home. I had great conversation with someone there who, was always extremely good to me. And that's the thing. Like, people are like, aren't you mad at the company? No, I'm mad at the person that fired me, because there was no reason for any of us to get fired. Like, that was a how do you fire Suzuki? Like, dude, like, that guy is incredible. And like, just all the people on that list were really, really great at what they did. So to do it, 10 days after Christmas, the way it was done, like, just to gut such a great group of people, that it wasn't right. But I know it wasn't, whose fault it is. And it's like, okay, you'll get yours one day or over the summer. And, but like, when I talk about, Coach Bloom or Shawn Michaels, like, they were so good to me. And like, Bloom was a fantastic boss to me. I loved the other coaches. And it's like, the PC is a great facility. I love the women there. So, if the opportunity to go back came up, like, I'd be open to it. So it would have to look a little different, because I have moved out of Florida and stuff. But I mean, I'm also open to going to another promotion. I just want to go where I can make the most impact on the women's division. I want, where I end back up, to make that the premier women's division that everyone goes, oh, I want to work there. At the height of Shimmer, I'd go and do other independent shows, and girls would come up to me and they're like, our immediate goal is Shimmer. Like, we want to get to the Berwyn's Eagle Club. We want to get to Chicago. We want to work there, and I'm just like, that's great goals. You should always have evolving goals. And so for me, I want to make where I land the absolute premier. Like, that's where everybody wants to go, because they know I'm going to look out for them. I'm going to take care of them, and I'm going to build them in the best ways possible. And I want to have like a really cool locker room where, not everybody has to be friends, but, not everybody's fighting and shenanigans and craziness. Like, we can all at least work together.
For sure. And over the summer, you began working with Women's Wrestling Army
Yep.
under the direction of Maria Tenellis Bennett in a coaching role. Tell us how that came together and what that experience has been like working with women and in a space that's run by women.
I enjoy it. Her and Bobby Cruz put it together. Bobby Cruz and I go way back, way back to like the old early ROH days. And I met Bobby through my brother and through Ring of Honor. So Bobby knew what I was capable of. And, Maria and I have never really worked together, but we were always like ships passing in the night. We'd always be like, hey, great to see you, and then go on to our own thing. And I feel like, at the end of the day, they really want to build something special. And I like being a part of that. And I like the roster. It was my first time being there at the Logan Square in Chicago. And like, I enjoyed the locker room. I got to work with a lot of new people. So that was really great. Like, just seeing, touching different talent. Shouldn't probably say it like that, but, expanding my reach to different talent and seeing what's going on there, because I pride myself on really knowing what's going on in different women's divisions, both on a TV level or on an independent level.
Absolutely. And I guess, have you seen any matches or storylines that stand out to you this year in particular from any of the companies that have been your favorite to watch?
I love what's being done with Rhea Ripley. I'm enjoying her so much. Like, she's just a cool person behind the scenes, and to see her doing something different, something special, I'm loving that. Really liking Damage Control. I love the connection of those three. Like, Bailey is a heel. She's so good. She's so good. And, and if I pop over to, AEW, I'm really happy to see Athena there, because I think she brings a lot to the table. And I think she's going to be great for the locker room in she's a no nonsense kind of gal, and but she knows how to get it done. 17 years around. She's smart. People don't realize how smart she is to wrestling. And then slightly off subject, I don't know, have you seen the clip of her husband wrestling Keith Lee?
I don't
Where he
think I
gets
have.
chopped by Keith Lee. He goes down, dies, and then they play a Sarah McLachlan song as he's just laying there in the ring. Honestly, 2022, that's the completed, little viral clip for me, because I thought that was hilarious. It was just so well timed. And, I really think Matthew Palmer is a good mind in wrestling too. But, I like with Impact, I feel Impact, the women there, and I could be wrong, I feel like they get the most creative freedom there. Like they really get to go outside the box, which I think we need to do more of that in women's wrestling. So, there's good things on all ends. I would like to see more women behind the scenes on the creative process, because at the end of the day, these are still groups of women telling men's stories. It's men's words in their mouths for promos. And there's been times where I see these promos and, for some people have to have their scripted. Some people are very comfortable doing their own thing and making sure that they put their touch on it. And I can always tell when something was written for someone, but like who isn't quite in touch with thing. I would hear it and I'd be like, there's no way a woman would say that. There's
Yeah.
no way a woman would act like that. Like, we've had a problem over the years, and it's not as bad now, where a woman's value in the ring was what was her connection to a man on the roster, whether it was women fighting over a dude, or they're dating a dude, or love angle this or that. And it's just like, no, man, the women can be their whole own division, and there does not have to be overflow. I mean, there can be crossover, but like, let's be smart, let's be creative with it. And that's why I really like the stuff with Rhea, because she's not there for the dude. She's there because she's Rhea freaking Ripley. She's mommy. And I just love that.
For sure. Were you able to have a say in any promos or produce any matches, or kind of just get involved hands-on like that while you were in NXT?
So promo wise, I don't get involved in those as a producer. Really, my stuff is just, hey, making sure we fit the segment into the proper amount of time, making sure cameras know where to go, and everybody knows what's expected of them. Creatively, I don't get any say or involvement. That is for the writing team. That's
Gotcha.
between the writing team and the wrestler.
Gotcha. While you were at the PC, did you have any coaching moments or anything of the like that like kind of solidified that feeling of this is what I meant to do, and kind of gave you that sense of accomplishment while being there?
Oh my gosh, every day. I was that wide-eyed, bushy-tailed kid on the first day of school walking in there going, I get to go to work. It was never I have to go to work kind of thing. It was, I get to go to work. Like, this is the coolest thing. And especially walking in on days with my brother, I'm like, look at us, two weirdos from Winnipeg. Who would have thought growing up in Pennsylvania, we'd be here, we'd be doing this. And so, but I mean, seeing young talent, like seeing the Vegas recruits growing, that was awesome, because I got to be one of the coaches at the Vegas trial. I wasn't even signed yet. I was actually the last one of the group to get signed, because the Vegas kids all got signed, and then I got the call, and I'm like, oh, I'm part of the Vegas recruits. Okay. And people don't realize, like, I started guest coaching at the end of 2020. So, and I was there 4 times as a guest coach, and then I did the Vegas tryouts, which is pretty funny, because I think I'm the female guest coach that came the most times. But like, also, I stayed very under the radar. People did not know that I was there. People did not know I had even guest coached till the 3rd time I was there. And it's only because I got seen with Zelina Vega, because I said hi to her. We stood at the ring for a moment, walked away. And like later that night, Meltzer's breaking it. And I'm just like, okay. So, when it comes to social media and stuff like that, I put out what I want to put out, but like, other than that, I keep things pretty quiet, pretty private. So nobody knew that I was there for that much time. And then I was signed for those 3 months. But seeing the Vegas recruits growing, that's awesome. I really enjoyed Erica Yan when I was there and watching her pick things up and grow. And then Tiffany Stratton, like at first I wasn't 100% sure about her. I'm like, obviously she's a beautiful girl, great shape, I'm like, what's her motivation? And then one day I happened to be at Extra Ring and she popped in. She's like, hey coach, what are you doing? And I was just killing time between classes. And so I was watching Hoda, like back in the day, like Japan. And I was like, I'm just watching some Japanese women's wrestling. You want to join me? And she goes, yeah. And she sits down and we just spent like half an hour. And I'm like, okay, this is this person and this is this part. And she was just drinking in. And she's like, can we go into the ring and try some stuff? I'm like, let's go. And after that, I was like, I love this kid. I love this kid so much. And I loved her match with Wendy, the lights out stuff. And, I really think that she's putting the work in. So she's going to make millions too. Oh yeah. She's going to be something big someday.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to her return after she had that lights out match against Wendy Chu. Felt like she was just kind of hitting her stride this summer, but I'm sure she's going to come back even bigger and better than ever.
I think so too.
So WrestleZone does a watch list feature where we kind of look at a wrestler's most complete match that kind of showcases everything that they can do basically. Do you have any at the top of your mind from your own career that stick out as a match that states this is Allison Danger?
I would say first match, me and Becky Lynch at Shimmer, Volume 3. Yeah, I'd say that because that was thrown together extremely quick. It was more never met each other. Hey, Becky. Hey, Danger. This, high five. And then we went out to the ring. Like that was the conversation. I want to say like her flight was delayed or something. I mean, this was years ago. I want to say her flight was delayed. So she got there like not long before our match. She might have even been like changing in the car if I remember properly. I'd have to like text her and ask her one day. But just to go out there with very little conversation, not even knowing each other, and to like get through, especially like the technical game, I just am always really, really proud of that match. So when I tell people, you get a feel of like who I am as a baby face and, what I can do, that's one of the matches I jump to pretty quick.
Awesome. I'll definitely have to check that out. Do you
Streamshimmer.com.
Exactly. Do you find that you have any other opponents that you were able to maybe put together matches with in a magical way, like on the fly without much preparation? Or is it better when you kind of, lay everything out to get to where you want to be?
I like to have less. I like to feel the moment, feel the crowd, see how it's going. I feel if I have A through Z locked in and something goes wrong at H, what do I do with the rest of the letters? So I like to have less stuff planned. Me and cheerleader Melissa brought out like the more violent sides of each other. Like we would just get in there and just kick the crap out of each other. I feel like me and Sarah Del Rey had good chemistry, both as a tag and as opponents. She kicked the crap out of me. But yeah, I mean, I always had good stuff with Daisy Hayes. I always felt really comfortable with Mischief back in the day. As a tag team, I feel like me and Leva were really, really good together. Personality wise, getting things through wise. And I really cherish the time I had with her as a partner.
For sure.
She's my in-ring life partner.
Yeah. So as we wrap things up here, looking beyond October 27th, what is next for Allison Danger?
So I got the 27th with Colby. We're doing the 28th. We're doing a seminar at the H2O facility. So if anyone in the Northeast wants to get some training in with some Carinos, that's the information's on Twitter. They can go to mine or Colby's and they'll find it. The following week, Wrestling Women's Army is returning to Chicago. I will be there. And immediately I'm going over to Brooklyn to do Catalyst Wrestling because they've brought me on as a commissioner and I help backstage. And I just did that one in September. And I quite enjoyed working there, and I'm looking forward to doing it. And it's great because Colby's there. So I get to spend more time with Colby, and I love
Right.
that. And yeah, from there, I don't know. I'm available. Do I want to wrestle again? No, we're good. We're good. 27th, we're good. After that, my heart's in coaching.
Yeah.
I want to continue leaving my mark on women and just like helping. I want to make sure that women's wrestling does not slide backwards. And I think in some instances, it has in certain like writing or way things have been established. And I want to make sure that like, no, we just keep moving forward, keep moving forward. I would say at this point in time, there's more incredible talent available to us than ever. So I want to make sure that it gets developed properly and that good stuff gets passed on from generation to generation to generation.
Well, that's good to hear, because I think as fans, we want all of that as well. So I'm definitely glad that you're involved with that. And yeah, Allison Danger returns to the ring alongside Colby Carino at Sean Henderson presents Colby Carino's Painted Black this Thursday, October 27th at the H2O Wrestling Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Tickets are $25 at the door. And if you can't make it in person, the event is streaming live on IWTV, which I will definitely be checking out. So,
Nice.
Allison, I
And then
thank you
I'm
for
going
taking.
Wawa afterwards.
Yes, I had to get Wawa while I was down in Orlando this week, because we don't have it here in the Carolinas.
No, we don't. And we need a Buc-ee's too.
I agree.
Oh, if they put a Buc-ee's near me, oh my God, my husband will never. I will get the Buc-ee's pajamas, the one piece with the hoodie. I will do that.
That would be should be at the top of your Christmas list this year.
Nah, I think the new Golden Knights jersey is at the top of my list. It glows in the dark.
That's awesome. Well, Allison, I thank you for taking the time to chat today, and I wish you all the best with your match this Thursday.
Thanks, Colby.